Greetings, friends, and welcome to my guide on the savage breath of the Creator. I will go into each of the mechanics as we make our way through the encounter. I will also try and incorporate as many different strategies as I can, but for the most part, I'll be focusing on the ones we learn to best fit our playstyle and composition. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice are the buttons on the floor. These buttons activate traps. If any member of the party, the boss, or any adds hit these buttons, they will activate. However, they are not always active all the time. You can tell when they are active because they will glow. The crystal button will shoot ice down the sides of the arena. The spiky bomb button will summon massive crushers from the ceiling, and the spike button will summon spikes that restrict movement. Upon pulling the boss, try to position him so that he is in between the first two buttons. This will help with upcoming mechanics. The boss has a triple hit ability that does moderate damage on the tank, and a raid damaging ability called Rumble Rocks that deals moderate damage to the raid. One of his main mechanics is called Charge. The first single charge will either be stack or spread based on the color of the marker above his head. Yellow is stack up for shared damage and blue is spread out for massive damage. He will do one of them here. Then he will hit the spike trap followed by the opposite color. The first one is always random, so sometimes you'll get yellow and the other times you'll get blue. Whenever he jumps away for the trap, he will always jump back to the tank. When he jumps back, it will always be in the center of your hitbox, so be sure to compensate for this and position him where you want to. The first trap will always be the spikes, so when he starts to cast trap, make sure you are either spread or stacked depending on which one he is going to do. After this, there is a tank swap. You can skip this with high DPS. This damage is proximity based, so you need to either run away or use Holmgang, Living Dead, or Hollowed Ground if you don't want to move. It will apply a stack of physical vulnerability up to the tank. If you're going to use an invincible here, make sure to heal the tank up afterwards because there is an AoE that follows this attack. This is followed by 4 huge AoEs in the middle of the arena. Get to the edge. During this, the boss will hit the ice trap, so immediately after the AoEs go off in the middle, get back inside to avoid being hit by the ice. Strike Box will then cast Gobsnick Leg Hops. This is a don't move mechanic. Simply untarget the boss and don't move until the cast finishes. If you don't stop moving, you will take massive damage and probably die. It is possible to survive as a tank, but I wouldn't recommend it. The boss will jump away after this and do another single charge. This time it will be green, which means to get near the boss. This is a donut style attack and will deal damage and knockback to everything not close to the boss. At the same time, an ad will spawn. This ad has low HP and needs to be picked up by the off tank. You need to keep it slightly away from the boss because if they are too close, they will tether and buff each other's damage. You also need to turn the ad away from the group because it will do a massive AoE in front of it. Shortly after the ad spawns, the boss will do Gob Rush Rush Gob. This is a heavy hitting multi-hit tank buster. Use cooldowns to mitigate this. The boss will then cast Trap again with AoEs on the outside. The trap he hits is the middle Crusher trap, so stay outside near the edge until you see the trap go off in the middle. Then, move in to dodge the AoEs on the outside. Another tank swap is here. Handle this the same as before. This is followed by a double charge. Basically, the double charge will be 2 of his different charges in a row. The red variant will be added here. Red means get out, so it will either be in out or out in. You can skip this with high damage. If you don't skip, you may see another stop moving, green charge, and tank buster. The push is at 60%. This phase is pretty simple. A huge bulldozer will be on one side of the room. The goal is to kill it before it kills you. While you are doing this, you will have to dodge line AoEs and pass prey. The prey will always target a healer first. We have our ranged and healers do this in the back to make more space near the bulldozer. The prey will drop a fire circle on the target, deal damage, and apply a magic vulnerability stack. So be sure to not clip anyone and be all the way back to the side. Each healer should have a ranged prey buddy. One pair takes one side and the other two take the other side. Simply drop it far back and then run up to pass. The steamroller will be channeling a slam attack that deals moderate damage and causes knockback. If you're within melee range, it will kill you instantly, so be sure to run out before the cast finishes. Don't be greedy. Once the bulldozer is destroyed, the boss will become targetable again. Try and position him similar to the pole. Strike box will start with heavy tank damage followed by another tank buster. He will now introduce triple charge. This will be 3 different charges in succession. For triple charge, it's out, spread, donut, or in, out, stack. After the triple charge, the boss will do 2 raid AoEs, then jump away and summon another ad. For this ad, you want to drag it all the way to the opposite side of where the boss is. The boss will begin to spin to win and become invulnerable. During this, he will also pulse and cause raid-wide damage, as well as tether to someone and begin to move towards that person. The tether can be passed to another player. To stop him from spinning, you need to hit him with the ice trap. So have the tank pick up the tether and lure him to the outside edge. Have someone else hit the ice button, then get in the middle. If done correctly, the ice will hit the boss but no one else. DPS the ad like normal and keep it faced away from the raid. After he is knocked out of this by the ice trap, Strike Box will do another raid AoE and tank buster. Immediately following this, the boss will jump to the north side of the arena and begin to cast Gobslice Mooncrops. This ability will shoot a beam down the middle of the arena and push everyone back. The damage is slightly higher the closer to the middle you are. So what you need to do for this is about 25% through the cast, hit the spike trap, and then get to the sides of the arena. This will force the spikes to come up and prevent the raid from being knocked back into the lightning. This is followed by a single charge, get in or stop moving mechanic, and 2 raid AoEs. Now the saws will come up. They are way more scary looking than they actually are. The saws will only hit the space over the buttons. They do high damage and cause knockback. Simply stay in between the buttons and you'll be absolutely fine. During this, praise will go out on the healers again, just like during the bulldozer phase. Similar to that, each healer should have a ranged buddy and you should designate spots for each pair. I would suggest tanking the boss in one of the middle areas and having one range group to the south and the other to the north, all relative to the boss. Put one fire AoE on one side, then pass it to the other side. The melee and 2 tanks can continue to DPS the boss. The only thing they really have to watch out for is a red get out single charge. All this is followed by a tank swap and tank buster. The next sequence of events is another trap mechanic. AoEs will be in the middle again, and the boss will jump to the ice trap. Simply get in after the AoEs go away. He will then jump on the middle crusher trap with AoEs on the outside. Simply get out in the AoEs, wait for the middle crushers to come down, then dodge back into the safe spots out of the AoEs. Okay, so ideally the boss should be dead here, or close to, but if he isn't, you'll have to deal with adds. There will be little goblin soldiers that spawn with vulnerability down. Have the off tank pick them up and drag them to the middle. You'll need to hit the spike crusher button and hit them to give them vulnerability up and kill them as soon as possible. If they aren't killed in time, they will explode. During this, there will be another don't move mechanic, so once you pick up the adds, adhere to this. This is followed by another triple charge, and adds with whirlwind, tank buster, gob slice mooncrops, another don't move mechanic, then enrage. Well friends, that's all I got. I hope this guide was helpful and will lead to some sweet first clears. Peace guys.